Be'ez Hashem, today we'll be learning Daf Vav Amud Aleph, which is in the middle of Torah Hey. Till now we learned in Torah Hey that everyone needs to say that the entire world was only created for himself. And Memela, he has a chrayas to daven for all the chesronos of the world. Now, the person could only know how to daven based on if it's Kadim Gzadin or La'achar Gzadin. And the way a person knows if it's Kadim Gzadin or La'achar Gzadin is dependent on the way a person does mitzvahs b'simcha, because there are two madrigas. There's a madriga that a person does mitzvahs and is not nana for the mitzvah itself. He's only nana because he knows that he's getting schar. And then there's a person who's nana for the mitzvah itself. So he said that difference is a difference of a kamimi shubalev and yashas alev. A kamimi shubalev means that every time a person does a mitzvah, there's always a bechina that a person isn't really roy to be niskar to that mitzvah. So there's that kamimius. There's a mitzvah basiyasan in every mitzvah. The person feels pushed away from the mitzvah. A person feels that manias. He feels different things which are stopping him and preventing him from doing the mitzvah. The Rebbe says, "Behemshech," that's the machlekes between tzaddikim. The person wants to become a kurv to tzaddik, but he feels uncomfortable becoming a kurv to tzaddik because of all the machlekes going on. So, to a person, every time a person tries to engage in every type of avodas Hashem, then a person feels a machlekes. It might not be doing machlekes between people, but he feels like that it being chaylik on him. He feels like there's something telling him that he's not right to be niskarev. So when he does mitzvahs, he's mitzvah b'asiyasa. But he's menachem himself. He knows that loss of love is going to get schar. But a person wants to come to a madrega that you're nana for the mitzvah itself, and the way you do that is by coming to yashas alev or yishrei simcha. And the way we do that is through ra'amim, which are mafshit akamim shubalev. When a person davens b'koyach u'b'koil, it's bechina that when it hits his mind, when your mind hears the koil that you put into davening, then that's a coil that hits the clouds and makes thunder. So that thunder, when a person davens b'koyach means that even when you don't have koyches to daven, and even when you don't have the chiyas, but afal pichen you daven b'koyach v'koil, that gives you koyches in all areas of avodas Hashem. That even when you feel that kamimius, you feel the downs. It's not a straight line. Avodas Hashem isn't straight. There's going down and up and down, and it's okum, it's krum. And you feel machlekes, you feel afal pichen. It's mashit the akmimius. It makes it pashit for you that afal pichen you can be besimcha and to be nana for the mitzvah itself and to have a chiyas for the mitzvah itself. And the way we do that is by making sure that to keep our mind clean from chachmas chitzanias. Chachmas chitzanias, Reb Nosson says in a few places, over here it means not ibetchachten. Every time a person hears a machlekes, and not to think to himself, oh, so because it seems like I'm being pushed away, must mean I'm not really roy l'eskarev. So a person has to know, not to think, just to go in and to do an avodas Hashem, and to have a chiyas, to get that chiyas through that ra'amim, to know that even though right now I'm not having a chiyas, but afal pichen to daven b'koyach or b'koil, so that's ma'or me that ra'am which happens when I don't let myself think, oh, I'm not roy l'eskarev. And also we said that a person has to watch his yira in order that your koyach of yira, which is a koyach gvura of being able to daven tefillah b'koyach, should also be with b'kedusha, which means make sure not to have years chitzon, not to be afraid of anything besides Hashem. Try your best when something comes up that a person's scared of, to try to think that I'm not really supposed to be scared of this. And we said that all the machlekes between tzaddikim, the only reason why we hear this machlekes between tzaddikim is this is a tachacha and this is a tikkun. Whenever we hear machlekes between tzaddikim or we hear things kamimius, that's the tikkun, to hear that kamimius. But afal pichen to daven tefillah b'koyach and to zech l'shei simcha. There is mamshech in ois hey that it's not enough to have simcha, to have yira. You have to be mishatev chasadim with the gvuris, because the ikar skalas of gvuris through chasadim, shevli mini, and the Rebbe is mamshech on that. Then he brings a Maimer Rabbi Baruch Chana that one time he's going on a ship, and while he was going on the ship, he passed by a big fish. That the fins of the fish, it took 3 days and 3 nights for the ship to get from one fin to the other. And while the boat was going upstream and the fish was going downstream. And if you want to say that, the Rabbi Bechana says, if you want to say that maybe the fish wasn't going so quickly, so he says, Rav Dimi says that however long it takes to warm up a pitcher of water, they had already traveled 60 parseis. And if an archer shot an arrow, they were faster than an arrow. And Rav Ashi says this is called a gildan of the Yama. So the Rebbe explains that Rabbi Bechana went on a ship. The ship is Meramis, since the word Sfina is Chashivas, and the Iker Chashivas, Yiras Hashem Eitzara, Iker Chashivas is Gevura, Yira, that Rabbi Bechana said that he was looked in the Midas Yira, and he saw the Godel Koyach Yira, that through Yira a person is able to know the difference between Kodem Gzadin and Achag Gzadin. Those are the two fins. A fin, the Lashon Gemara Shitza, which is a targum of Vachalis and Karaga, that it's the same targum as destruction of tzaris. So, but there's two types of tzaris. The tzar of Kodim Gzadin, and Achag Gzadin. Rabbi Bechana says he was able to tell the difference between Kodim Gzadin and Achag Gzadin through mitzvahs. Where mitzvahs? There are 3 types of mitzvahs. There's muskalos, the mitzvahs we understand, makobel, things we just makabel, chukim, and there's vagis and velayla. So 3 types of mitzvahs, 3 days and 3 nights. But if we do them besimcha, which that's what it means that we were going upstream, and the fish was going downstream. That's in the of Yismach Hashem Ma'asav. They said that the mitzvahs are a kamish shlema, that Hashem is Yismach Hashem. Hashem has simcha with the mitzvahs, because the mitzvahs are a whole structure of Olam Shana Nefesh, which correspond to Olam Shana Nefesh of this world. Hashem sees this world, He has a simcha from this world, and when everything is going properly, and when we connect to that, so it's Yismach Yisrael Ba'osav. The fish is going downstream. In the Yismach Hashem Ma'asav, we're going upstream. Yismach Yisrael Ba'osav, that we're in Mesamech and the Oisen and the Bare. And the simcha is mislabish in the mitzvahs, when we are mesamech so much in the Kodesh Baruch Hu and Yismach Yisrael Ba'osav, and we have no ratzon for. We're not even thinking about Olam Haba. We don't have to menachem ourselves about Olam Haba. We have simcha from the mitzvah itself. That the feast of Chasenu, Simchas against Simchasenu, through that we're able to understand. So how are we zeichet to that? That's through thunder. That's what Rav Dimi said as long as it took to heat up a pitcher of water. So that's the water is referring to the chachma, and the heat is referring to gvuras. To heat up the gvuras should heat up the chachma, which means the koil, which a person is mitzi bekoyach bekoil ubiyira, even when he doesn't have chiyas, and that hits his mind, and he hears, his mind hears the water, hears the heat, and gets heated up. And we were able to travel 60 parsois. That's the all the bechis of gvuras, which hit the galgal, hits the mind, and makes the thunder. And it's kol ma'ara kavana. That's mashat akmir shevalev. But it's only if we're connected together and mashata together with chasadim. And that's like we said before. And yet, the year has to come first, because because Gira is always the feminine, and Chesed and Ava is always the masculine, and the Bala Veda, Adam Rishon lost his tzela in order to make Chava, so the masculine, who is the Adam, is looking for his Aveda, which is the Isha. So that's the Ava, is always the Yira follows the Ava. The Maktim the Yira, Kibala Veda that the Ava follows the Yira. So that's V'chishad Pasha Gira. And that's where Avashi says Gilda de Yama. That's the shame, Gilda Yama. That's a shame Hashem, which has to gvuras of Ata Gibra Le'olam Hashem. And this is a page of the pasuk that we learned that this Torah is based on b'chatzorsis of kol shofar. That through the kol shofar, which you said the Rebbe spoke about, that's the kol, the voice. That through the kol shofar, you have yiram ayam. That's how you make the ra'amim, which hits the yam, and tevel yeshiva, and that hits the heart, and that lanivaramim elafash takmi mishbalev. And tevel is isis tav lev, that makes a lashon or shima. Tav is lashon or shima chakika, like we learned before. And the har simcha chav, to that was a simcha lishalei simcha, and yachad haranenu, that and we're able to daven the shema arena, and that's the meaning of harim. That the tzaddikim or of harim are able to be malbish the tefillah and the maimer and the story lachag zadin, that shemabishim tefillah b'sipurim yachad, which means that even when they daven, they're able to daven in a way or malbish it, not to say straight. The tzaddikim have a way of davening that instead of saying clearly that I'm davening for this, but they through sing Torah or through sing a story, that's gilui davening. And every one of us also in our bechinam, when we start doing mitzvahs b'simcha, even when it's hard for us, even though it looks like we're being nisrachik, and afal pichem, through davening tefillah b'koyach, we're zeichet to have simcha, even b'toich that k'mim yishabalev, then we're zeichet to know where we're holding. We become self-aware. If we're kalim zadin, la'achag zadin, we know where we're holding in the inyan of simcha. We know we're aliyah, we know in yerida, and memela we know to adjust ourselves. Sometimes we need to daven straight because it's kadim zadin. Sometimes I have to daven a little bit differently, or be eisuf Hashem a little bit differently because it's la'acher zadin. To Hashem tomorrow we mamshech with Torah Vav.